Chinese immigrants' history in the UK can be traced back to the 17th century. They traveled to the UK as seamen to work in laundries and Chinese restaurants. Their living conditions were very harsh. They would work grueling hours and send what little money they could afford home. Linda is an old immigrant from mainland China. She has been living in the UK for 31 years.
I have some skills in China, but when I came back to the UK, I didn't have a choice. I could only work in a restaurant or a takeaway. I worked long hours, 13 to 14 hours a day. It was very hard.
Old Chinese immigrants like to live together. Manchester Chinatown is one of the largest Chinese community in the UK. It is not only where old immigrants gather, but also where most Chinese catering, equipment supply, legal and financial business are based. Figure shows that 16% of all the hot food sold in UK was estimated to come from a Chinese-owned business. In addition to small business set up by old Chinese immigrants here, some Chinese firms begin to invest billions of pounds in the UK economy.
I've been helping various Chinese companies to looking for investment opportunities in this country, and I'm very glad actually just about 6 weeks ago there's a Chinese company called ABP, the Advanced Business Park, and they just set up signed £1 billion project with the GLA, the Great London Authority. Just again 2 weeks ago, the Chinese group called Vanda Group, they just paid £90 million, bought a site and on the south side of the River Thames in central London, and they are going to build the tallest residential and office building in the area.
With China's recent 30 years economic development, the demographic of Chinese immigrants has changed gradually.
Chinese Association Financial Executives in the UK basically is also, we call it a cafe, like CAFE, and then it was founded in 2009 by some financial professionals. Most of people are take management roles or senior technical positions in the financial industry, like investment bank, commercial bank, and some other financial institutions. Facilitate the platforms and for communication between Chinese financial institutions and UK British financial institutions. And a lot of people have college degrees in China and then come here to pursue either PhD or master, and either in science or in finance, and then later decide to work in either UK or US. On the impact side, it's very hard to measure, right? But we are trying our best to promote these communications.
According to the Home Office, 44,000 Chinese nationals came to live in Britain in 2012, 40,000 of whom came to the UK to study. Manchester Airport is going to open a new route from Manchester directly to China in order to increase profit from this huge market.
That's an area of the world that we would really like to serve. We think it's important to businesses that are based here in the Northwest, and we've set up something called the Manchester China Forum, which is also helping us to secure that direct route. There's quite a lot of numbers of passengers that are actually flying to places such as Beijing, Shanghai and Hong Kong. So we know that the passenger base is there, and now we just think we need to have a direct service as well. We absolutely see the opportunity there. China is a growth economy and we want to serve growth economies from here, and we are looking to involve businesses in gaining greater business connectivity between the northwest of England and China. Everybody could benefit from serving an economy like China.
The University of Sheffield attracts almost 2,500 Chinese students, where many of them stay in the UK.
My major is environment and energy engineering. I want to work here for a while.
If I got the chance to work here, maybe I will live here.
Maybe come back to China to find a job.
Students used to have a type of visa called a post-study work visa, which allowed them to stay and look for work without needing to have a sponsor. The cancellation of this visa last year added difficulty for current students. Instead, many of whom can't find a job choose to stay under the entrepreneur visa. The entrepreneur visa is a visa which allows foreign nationals to come to the UK to start a company and earn a fast track to UK citizenship. As long as the criteria on access to funding, job creation, and a business model are fulfilled, according to UK Border Agency, the number of immigrants coming via the entrepreneur visa route has doubled in the past year, boosted by people from China and Pakistan. A Chinese immigration lawyer in Manchester, who didn't want to be interviewed on camera, told me more and more wealthy Chinese are applying for this kind of visa. To qualify for an entrepreneur visa, an investor needs to invest £200,000. In the past, the figure was £1 million. This visa has increased flexibility too. The number of days that investors can spend outside of the UK has risen from 90 to 180 days a year. With more new high-profile Chinese immigrate to the UK, they have contributed to Britain's economy and are gaining more respect in the British society.
It's getting more and more powerful, and people realize to have their voice heard, it is very important. So 3 years ago at the general election, there were 8 Chinese parliamentarian candidates try to fighting to get into the parliament, and it's the first time in history and happened, and so all the Chinese community leaders are very, very active and try to support. Sadly, none of the 8 people succeeded, but it's a very good lesson. But afterwards, actually, the Prime Minister David Cameron pointed Nat Wei to the House of Lords, and he was the youngest peer in the House of Lords, and I think it is really the time we need to have our own voice. And so we have been quite busy now, try to support, try to hopefully find a Chinese candidate to try again, and it is very, very important. But I'm sure that one day we will succeed.
Chinese immigrants carry their hopes to the UK. No matter the cultural differences, most of them work diligently and try their best to fit in. The UK now has become home to old and new Chinese immigrants.